Hello and welcome to the instructional video for the Will It Make It to Moab Mini Jeep USB stick. This video has 3 sets of instructions in it. Set 1 is for people who enjoy a puzzle but just want to make sure there's no hidden quirks or something, so that if they put it together in a weird way they'll break something unexpected. So I'll just tell you of any little hidden pitfalls. Set 2 of instructions is people that enjoy a puzzle but they just like to know where all the bits go. And then set 3 is for people who would just like a complete guide on how to assemble it. So, let's begin with set 1. Inside your box you will find one mini Jeep body, one set of pontoon tops, and a bag of parts of your mini Jeep. And inside here, the only thing that you really need to worry about there are 5 little plastic pegs, which are these little things that look like mouse poo, and they clip the top of the pontoons to the bottom pontoons, and you need 4 of them. I've included 5 because they have a habit of fucking off into a different postcode whenever you drop them on the floor. So don't lose those, and the only other thing that you need to know is that these are the axles, and sometimes, due to the cutting process, which I will show you here, this is a fun job. There can be a tiny little burr on the edge, which is a little bit that's raised up, and you can feel it if you run your fingernail along and it catches on something. That is a burr, and all that can mean is that when you go to put it inside the wheel, it doesn't quite fit, and if you sort of jam it in there and wiggle it around, you could start to chew out the inside of the wheel. So what you can do is you just need to remove that burr. So just get a file and take it off, or if you don't have a file, you can use a piece of concrete. Here is some concrete, here is the axle that has that little burr on it, and all you do is you just get the bit that your fingernail catches on, and you just rub it on the concrete until it's lovely and smooth. And that is now lovely and smooth, and you just pop it in the wheel, like so. And other than that, everything's fairly straightforward. It's made of plastic, so you know, things bend, but just don't go crazy and everything's okay. The only thing I will say is the windscreen, which I've put on my finger here, when you're going to push it in, put your finger like in the hole and push it down like that, so you are squashing this part here, and then everything's fine. If you push it in and squeeze it that way, then you could, in theory, break the windscreen, because that's just a thin surround. So just push it in there like that and squeeze it, and you'll be okay. I won't tell you where that goes, I'll let you work it out. Hello, Future Ed here. I've just had a thought, and that's that if any of these parts are made wrong, you won't know that, and so you might be trying to put together something that can't go together because it's been made wrong. It hasn't happened yet, but I thought I'd just let you know to stop you scratching your head a lot. So, first one, these axles should be 25.5mm long, give or take a bit. If they're too long, your wheels might stick out a bit too far. Doesn't really make a difference. If it's too long, just rub it on the concrete until it gets to the correct length, and then your wheels will sit right. If it's too short, maybe the wheels can't clip in fully because there's not enough material. A little drop of super glue would solve that. Otherwise, if you're not happy with that or it's too short, just let me know. I'll send you out a replacement axle and I'll try and work out how it got made too short. Hasn't happened, but you never know. These dowels, these little pieces here, should be 4.5mm long. If they're too short, then the things that they hold together might not fully seat. This is the puzzle section, so like, I'm not going to tell you what they seat, but maybe it's something to do with this, and so like 2 drops of super glue there would solve it. You don't even need those dowels if you use super glue, but this is supposed to be a toolless assembly. If the dowels are too long, the things that clip together might not fully seat. Just get a pair of nail clippers and just chop them down until about 2 to 2.5mm sticks out. If you don't use the metric system, I'm very sorry, it's 2023, grow up. I'm joking, shots fired, right. Right, that is that. There's this little slot in here that something goes in. You should see it's a slot like that. That should be square. If it's like joined or something's gone wrong, put a steak knife in there and just open it up. But you know, it hasn't happened. But as always, if you're just not happy, let me know. I'll send you out a part which doesn't have that error. But please let me know so I can stop it happening if it does. And yeah, other than that, yeah, that's all that. So that should solve it. And yeah, they're 3D printed parts, so just be kind of gentle with them. I had one person manage to snap off the back of this seat. I don't really know how. Hi Curtis, sorry you broke it. Yes, I am sending you a replacement. You know, I always look after you guys. But yeah, so like the amount of force required to break it off, because 3D printing is in layers. So this way, it's really strong, and this way it's really strong. But this way, it's not that strong because it's done in layers. But it's a toy, don't take it into battle, but like the amount of force required to actually break it is like that. I mean, I don't really know how he broke it, but you know, Curtis, you're not an idiot. I'm sure it's sure it's not his mistake. A couple of drops of super glue would solve that. Otherwise, send me an email. I'll send you a replacement. So thank you very much, and yeah, back to the video. And now on to instruction set 2. Instruction set 2 is you'd still like to enjoy the puzzle, but you want to know where things vaguely go, just to give you a bit of guidance. So, these are the pontoon tops, these are the pontoon bottoms, they go on like that. There are 4 holes in here, and they correspond to 4 of these plastic pegs, so the pegs go in the holes. There's a 5th one which is a spare in case you lose one, so pop them in, clip them together. Then you have 4 magnets, which are probably stuck to your USB stick. It's going to be 2 sets of 2, and keep them in the same orientation, do some thinking and some physics with that, and they go in these holes here. So 1 magnet goes in that hole, 1 magnet goes in that hole, 1 magnet goes in that hole, and 1 magnet goes in that hole, and that allows them to clip together in this orientation. So the big gap goes towards the back. But as long as you put in the right orientation, you'll spot, because it just won't look quite right. That is those. Then, these 2 metal pieces are your axles. These are your axle holders. These pieces here, you have a small one and a big one. Big one goes at the back. That holds your axle, and the wheels go on the end of the axles. Not going to give you many more clues than that. This is your Jeep body, and this is your USB stick. That goes in there like that, and I can't really not show you how to do this. So yeah, that just goes in the hole like that, in that direction. This is your USB cover, which goes in there, and can you see that? Yeah, and that goes in there, and it I've got to show you this, and it clips in like that. If you put it in the wrong way, it won't want to go in. This is your seat. Seats go where seats go. Goes in at some point, not going to tell you. This is your windscreen. Windscreen goes in the windscreen hole. So remembering what I said, don't squeeze it that way, and remove your burrs. And if your magnets end up like loose or falling out because you've pushed them in and out, or there was just a slight manufacturing issue, once they're in, just the tiniest drop of super glue will sort that out. And this isn't really meant to float, but I designed it so it would. If you're going to put your pontoons on and make it float, take your USB stick out, please, because these don't like water. Right, that, I think, is that. So, on to instructions 3. So, take 46. I really hope this focus actually tracks right. If it doesn't, I'm really sorry, but there's nothing I can do with it. My camera's a bit crap. So, start off with your 4 magnets. Break them into 2 lots of 2, like so. And the easiest way that I've found is stick them on the end of something metallic like a butter knife. Then find something else. I've just gone for another butter knife. And then you push the magnets. So you've got 2 magnets here, and you push it into the hole in the bottom of the pontoons, like so. So that's 1 lot of magnets in there. And then what I really recommend is making sure they're all aligned the same way. Magnetism is fun, right? So these are the same way as that. It doesn't really have to be. And then push in the other lot. So now you have 2 magnets in there so they stick out further south. Then take your butter knife again and take off one of the magnets. And by taking it off, you know it's in the same orientation. So you now push it into the underside of the mini Jeep, like so. And then you take the other second magnet that sticks off and you do the same thing and then push it into the underside of the Jeep. And then you take your 4 plastic pegs, remember there's a 5th one there which is just a spare in case you lose one, and you push those into these 4 holes here. And you can do it using your fingernails. I'm going to use a pair of pliers because it's easier to show on camera. So you pick up one of your plastic pegs, put it in your pair of pliers, and then you push it into the hole like that. And you do this 4 more times, and then ta-da, you have 4 plastic pegs in your pontoon tops. You take your pontoon bottoms, which have 2 holes which correspond. Hopefully you can see that in the light. And then you just clip them on like so. And then something, let's try and get it so you can see. Did you see that? I don't know if you did, but it clips on like that. And then you get your other pontoon, you line your holes up, and you sort of give it a wiggle. And then, right, those are your pontoons which are assembled. Then, you take your mini Jeep body and take a USB stick. It comes through the hole in the back, like so. So it goes through there. You rest it against the dashboard, and then you just sort of push it through, slides on the dashboard a bit, and then eventually goes in, and it clips down into this pocket here, like so. Then you take your rear axle holder, which is the larger one. There's a small and a large. Take your large one and you push it through like that, so it now sticks out the bottom. Hopefully you can see that. Both axles are identical. Push your axle through the hole there, through the hole there. Take your wheel. Remember, you've taken any little sharp burrs off of here by either filing it or rubbing it on some concrete. And then you pop your wheel on there, and then you pop your wheel on there, and give it a very gentle squeeze. Remember, this is 3D printed plastic. You can't take it into battle, but if anything's not going right, just have a look, give it a wiggle. It should all just, you should be able to push it together with your little fingers. Then you take your front axle holder, that slides through the hole in the bonnet, or the hood, sorry, if you're American. So, does that go, can you see that? Yeah, that goes through there like that. And then it's the same as we did on the back. You take your axle and you push it through the holes. You know it's seated right because the axle goes through. If it doesn't go through, just, take your time. It should all go together nice and easy. And then you take your wheel and you put it on there. And then you've got one more wheel and you put it on there. And yeah, just little bits of pressure, just sort of wiggle it around. If it's not right, maybe you've got a burr on there. Axle distance should be like about that, just a tiny bit of play to allow for manufacturing issues. Then you take your USB cover, which is this. You will notice that it angles up on one end. So the angle up faces up, and on the end there's a little chamfer and these 2 pegs. And you put it, and there's a little slot in the end of the USB stick, which God only knows, you can kind of see it. See that slot there? He says, covering up with a pen. There's that slot there. This pushes into that slot, and that's why I've put that little sharp taper on it. And you put it on, and just nice and gently. Now, kind of be a bit careful with this, but you put your finger on the end and you're pushing it that way and just sort of gently wiggle it, and then you should hear it click. Not too much force. That is now clicked in. That's all there. You take your seat. The seat now sits on top of your USB cover. That goes on there, and then you get your windscreen, put your finger through the hole like I showed you before, and there's this slot where the windscreen goes, and then you put it in there like that, putting your finger through the hole and squeeze. And that is the Mini Jeep USB stick, and I haven't tested this. As long as you put the magnets in the right way, ta-da! Magnetic pontoons. Congratulations, you have built the Mini Jeep. And thank you very much for your support. This means a lot to me, and I like that it actually exists and you own technically a license to watch these videos whenever you want. Put them on whatever storage server you want. YouTube or any faceless corporation cannot take it away from you. So thank you very much. I hope those instructions worked. If they didn't and it's a complete mess and you couldn't understand any of it, let me know and I'll re-record this. So thank you very much. Bye.